I was always looking for love in all the wrong places. And why the sunglasses? Because that was how I hid the pain in my soul. By the age of 8, I already knew the gospel. By the time I was 14 or 15, I had read the entire Bible. This here was my first relationship inside the church, because I belonged to a denomination. That's where I started. And then came my first disappointment. Because after a while, the person asked for a break. Then one Sunday, I found out it was his engagement party with another woman, also from the place we attended. Because I was in the church, I told myself, well, there's no difference between men in the world and men in the church, so I won't make any distinctions anymore. I started searching. Then I reached the stage of my life where I was studying, attending university, and I began looking outside. Then came my second relationship. In this second relationship, I was engaged, but he ended it with me and married someone else. When my second relationship ended, I thought to myself, I'm going to buy a car. Who wouldn't want a woman who is an administrator, because I had a degree in administration, a sales supervisor, and who owns a car? That was how I saw it. But it was funny because the more empowered I felt, the more invisible I became. Then I went into my third relationship, which was this one here. That relationship was even worse. Then the person got married to someone else. He divorced the woman 3 months later, and then we got back together. After I received a revelation at a certain religious place. Yes, I looked for that sort of thing too. And in that revelation, someone told me, by June, someone in your life will return, and God will honor you. God will make your dreams a reality in your life. When the person came back, wanting to be with me again, I didn't think twice. I said, this is it. Not only did he not marry me, but I also went through the most humiliating experience of my life. I hit rock bottom. One day, I took my family to have lunch at a well-known shopping center here in Sao Paulo for my mom's birthday. And when I got there, he was with another woman in the food court. Still unsatisfied, already at rock bottom, already taking antidepressants, suffering horribly, the fourth relationship came along. And it seemed very much from God, because he constantly told my parents he wanted to marry me. We had chosen to marry on a farm, which I paid for up front, given 5 post-dated checks at the time to cover the cost of the venue.
So you funded the wedding?
I was the one who funded the wedding, because the people I was around also had financial problems. They always came with issues. Long story short, 15 days before the wedding, he said, I don't want this anymore, Layla. I can't. And if the pain in my soul wasn't enough, I began to have a problem I'd never had before, financial problems. I ended up in debt, and that was my rock bottom. I said, I'm going to have a change of direction. I had a friend whose mother ran a spiritist center. I'd already decided to change direction and thought to myself, if necessary, I'll go for a love-binding ritual. I had reached that point. Then my friend said to me, Layla, if I take you there, my mother will kill me. My mother doesn't like Christians going there. Then she said, but there's a place my sister has been going to. My mother doesn't know, but they've been going and really like it. That caught my interest immediately. I asked, where and when? She said, on João Dias Avenue. Ah, over there at the Universal Church. I said to her, are you crazy? I'm not going there. That place isn't from God. I don't like the Universal Church and I can't stand Edir Macedo. So much so that I don't even like seeing him on TV. Then she said, it's not Macedo. It's with a couple who've come from the United States. I think he's his son. He's just arrived from the United States, and he only works with couples. It's the love therapy. So I said, fine, I'll go. I enter the car park. The first thing I asked one of the assistants, a young man standing there, was, how much is the parking? He greeted me with, good evening, and I didn't even respond, wearing my sunglasses. He said, ma'am, it's free. There's no charge. I thought to myself, right, so it must be inside where everything happens. So I went in. When I arrived and looked at the altar, I didn't see anyone. I said, well, this certainly can't be religious service. There's no music, no worship team, and there were 3 chairs on the altar. So I thought, the therapist will sit there, the couples will sit there. A famous therapist, surely. I said to myself, I'll sit in the front row because I want to hear everything these therapists have to say. After a while, I looked. The meeting was about to start. Everyone stood up, and when I looked at the altar, in came this man of medium height, quite thin, with his head lowered and a Bible under his arm. I looked and said, I can't believe it. That's Bishop Macedo. I looked again and thought, but I imagined him to be 5'11" and entering the church greeting everyone with peace of the Lord, very imposing. Instead, he came in, knelt down, prayed, and then opened the Bible. He spoke in a way I'd never heard before, and his prayer went like this. How can this young woman praise you if her life is nothing? She's completely broken inside. I thought to myself, he has a gift of revelation. Because he's describing my life. Any moment now, he'll call me out. A hymn began, and the hymn that played, that he was singing, was the story of my life.
Tenho ouvido só falar do teu poder. Quanto tempo eu te sigo, sem te conhecer. Aquilo ali.
That was enough for me, because that song said everything I wanted to say to God. This unknown God I'd always heard about. My mask fell off. Those sunglasses that hid my pain fell. I kept thinking. All the way home, I kept thinking, I am of God. I am of God. Attending the meetings and receiving guidance, I said, I'm going to be of God. So I was baptized in water and started doing everything properly, all the purposes. Then came the campaign of Israel. I said, this is it. Now's my chance, because I thought, now I'm right with God. And I'm going to seek my marriage on this altar. I'm going to seek a man of God here. At the time, I even prepared an envelope in the shape of a wedding dress and wrote a letter to God. Lord, I want to marry a man of God. I will serve you with him. There, I was in the front row with my envelope in my bag, thinking, my God, today's the day. Then Bishop Macedo, it had to be him, because it was through him that God was going to change my life, said, and you who are here, the people from the love therapy who are seeking the perfect marriage, or the perfect person to make you happy. But I have something to tell you. A marriage will not heal the pain in your soul. A relationship will not heal the pain in your soul. Only the one who makes the perfect marriage can do so, because the Holy Spirit is the missing piece. Either you have the Holy Spirit inside you, or you'll make the same mistakes again. In that moment, I opened my bag, tore the envelope, and that's how I went up to the altar. I said, I don't want or need a marriage. What I need is the Spirit of God inside me. I need to be born again. I need to die here on this altar. I went up and there were a lot of people waiting to pass through. I knelt down in a corner and said, Lord, I want to tell you something. It can't be tomorrow. Either you give me the Holy Spirit today, or you take my life here, because if I go back down, I'll make mistakes again. While I was kneeling there, the Holy Spirit spoke to me. From today onwards, I am your husband. That was it. I only realized the pastor was talking to me when he said, Ma'am, you have to go down. I got up and looked around. Everyone had already gone down. I was crying out. When I went down the steps, something inside me changed. Inside me, there was something called peace, tranquility, certainty. I no longer needed anyone else to be happy. Everything inside me had been fulfilled. I started learning in the love therapy about intelligent love. I began to heal, to see my worth, that I didn't need to beg, that I didn't need to chase after anyone, because everything I needed, I already had. Then I did what I did in other areas of my life. I studied and sought professional growth. So I did the same thing in my love life. Not long after, I was transferred to Santos for work. I met someone and told him from the beginning I was living according to the love therapy, seeking intelligent love without emotion. He was already on that path too, and we walked it together. Then came my wedding. I married the man of God I'd sought for so long. Today, we serve God together. And I always tell my husband I never imagined being loved the way he loves me. There may be another woman as loved as I am, but not more than me. The most important thing, above anything else, for you to be happy, whether in your love life or any other area, is to first have the author of happiness within you.